Good evening, Music Multiverse listeners. Yes, this isn't Mark talking for once. I know, shocker, but that means that's a great episode hosted by moi, because that's also an album listen challenge night. So welcome to the show. I'll be hosting tonight, as I said, but we got a good matchup tonight. Again, we have Chef Jeff, and we have the man, Mark Kuligowski, which apparently, if this is Family Squares, I don't know where everyone is. So, and then a little special guest audience tonight, panelist Jeff Young. Welcome from Florida.
I'm here to contribute nothing.
And that's why I gave you the 5 seconds right there. So on that note, gentlemen, let's not delay. Let's get started right into this. Who'd like to go first?
I'm gonna go first.
And you have the best of Canned Heat.
Yes.
It's a best of?
Best of. And there's a reason why. So let me pontificate. So Canned Heat and why greatest hits. So Canned Heat, American blues rock band, formed in Los Angeles in 1965. The group has been noted for its efforts to pull in interest in the blues in its origins and their original artists. It was launched by two blues enthusiasts, Alan Wilson and Bob Hite, no relation to Bill Hite from the Buffalo Sabres, who took the name from Tommy Johnson's 1928 Canned Heat Blues, which is a song about an alcoholic who had desperately turned to drinking Sterno, which is generically called Canned Heat. You've got a lot of greats that have filled in and worked with this band, but most notable to people that are watching the show, all 21 of you, would maybe be Walter Trout, who is a famous blues guitarist, still around today, playing with Eric Clapton in a lot of places. Of course, has all his own solo records, which I have quite a few. He was in the band from 81 to 88, somewhere around there. So why greatest hits? Because Canned Heat hasn't written many of their own songs. Are they a Joe Cocker? No, they did write some of their own songs. What they've also done is taken these great old blues songs and sort of delivered them in their way, but still in a raw way. So when you think of old blues, artists like Elmore James and Willie Dixon and those kind of people, you're going back in time, not to 5 weeks ago or 2 years ago or 20 years ago. You're going back way, way longer than that in some cases. So that's why the best of, at least that's my opinion, when I was given this album. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go through the songs just so you get an idea. But I want everybody to realize this is a very raw record, even if it's the greatest hits. It hasn't been remastered, or if it has been remastered, the guy sucked. Obviously wasn't remastered by Steven Wilson.
Or for that matter, Brian Wilson either.
No. So a lot will remind you of the Doors, in actuality, for me. There's a song called Wish You Would. Wish You Would, LA Woman. If you listen to it, you will start to hear the background of LA Woman, without question. All right. So in the delivery and the recording in a lot of spots, it's as if it was quasi live-ish in the studio. Like they just put the microphones out, but they didn't get them close enough. There's like a distance between the microphone and what's happening. Like you're just getting it late. If you're looking for bass, apparently they gave the bass guy the day off. I don't know. There's not a lot of bass sound to this. It's very tinty, I guess, if you will, right? Which then again, old school blues, the recording sessions, the way these were done, hell, they might have been out near a campfire, for crying out loud. Who knows? This is your origin point, right? When I get to these songs, you're going to understand maybe what I mean. So it starts off with On the Road Again, which is a Floyd Jones album or song, and it's rearranged by Mr. Wilson of Canned Heat to some degree. Floyd Jones doesn't get enough recognition of it at the beginning, but On the Road Again can be considered a Canned Heat song. Then they do That Smell. Everybody knows that song, right? Ooh, that smell. The smell that surrounds you. Who sang it?
Frank Zappa.
Leonard Skinner was the original.
No, I just wanted to give you shit on that one.
So then you move to Going Up the Country, right? Everybody knows that little ditty, that boogie blues kind of thing. That actually was done by Canned Heat. However, it's in fact written by Henry Thomas, but he's not attributed to it for some reason. That I didn't go deep into, but it is a song that is mostly considered and talked about as being them. Then you get Spoonful. Well, that one was easy. I remember that one. That's Howlin' Wolf. Then Big Road Blues is Tommy Johnson. You got Rollin' and Tumblin', which is Muddy Waters. Got My Mojo Workin', which is Preston Foster. Chester Burnett is Louise. Dimples. Oh my God, that's John Lee Hooker. All right. I mean, these guys are going down a blues checklist of, wow, what a guy. Unbelievable, 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 unbelievable. And they're bringing it to the forefront in these years. Because remember, most of these songs predate what they're doing in these years. When you get to Don't Hold On. Okay. So here's my problem with inconsistency. I don't know whether it's the record company's problem. I don't know whether people just don't understand what a song's name actually is. But Don't Hold On is not Don't Hold On. It's I Can't Hold Out or Talk to Me, Baby. That's Willie Dixon. This was recorded by Elmore James in 1960. Obviously, Willie Dixon did it way before that. Then Canned Heat does write one of their own songs called Straight Ahead, where you see their influences and how it works out for them. Then there's a song called When Things Go Wrong, which is by Tampa Red. That was first released in 1941. So these, like I said, they're going 80 years prior. Well, back when they were doing it, that's 30 some years prior. Then Sweet 16. When that song played, I'm like, somebody famous did this song. There's no question, right? That's B.B. King, 1959. Then the Bullfrog Blues, which was in a William Harris song from 1928. And finally, they end with Dust My Broom, which is Robert Johnson and Elmore James.
What?
Robert Johnson, very famous blues guy. Eric Clapton covers Robert Johnson all the time. So one of the songs here, and I want to say it's When Things Go Wrong. Give me 1 second. I just want to be sure. Because yes, When Things Go Wrong. No, she would. No, Wish You Would. Wish You Would, which is a song that sounds like LA Woman. And this kind of goes with my flow. I wish you would have ended this song 4 minutes earlier. It's 8 minutes. It's too long. It's the same shit over and over again. We get the picture. I don't know where on earth they thought an 8-minute track was a good idea on the same blues riff. Somebody should have just stopped the record. After that, When Things Go Wrong is 9 minutes. Sweet 16 by B.B. King is 11. It's B.B. King. He didn't write an 11-minute song because he wanted to sing. He wrote an 11-minute song because he wanted to play the blues and he wanted to take layers and move things and they do that wonderfully. So when you're doing an 11-minute song or 8-minute song, put some fluctuation and changes in it like some of the blues greats do, and it'll be all right. But there's definitely elongation for some of this. So in closing now, I'll give you my point score.
Well, and for those at home, I did not mention this at the beginning If you're unfamiliar with us, we go through the art, the flow, the musicianship, accessibility to you personally listening to this album, in this case, Mark, and the overall score out of 5. And I can tell you right now, thank God it's not about the name, because when I heard Canned Heat, I thought about the mix between a can of Spam and a Hot Pocket. So
I don't know. I just thought they kept something in a can.
So anyways.
The production on this, I already stated is
I think they got the name from another song, didn't they? Another blues song.
Yeah. Yep. From another. Yep. I understand the nostalgia of the songs and the presentation that keeps this in importance. I get it. I like it. I like it a lot. It's the homage that's going on. It's the raw, appealing style of it. What I think of this is like when you listen to an old jazz record and how old it sounds, but the crispness of it, yet it's still, it's not produced well because of what was going on at that time. This is how this blues records are produced at this point, how this is put forward. So taking that into consideration, the artwork, which has this flaming car and the boys standing there from their, I don't know if it's the current times, old times. I like the cover. It drew my attention. While the car is on fire, I thought maybe it should be a can that should have been on fire, but okay. I give it a 4. The album flow of music, it's all blues, but the flow in production caught me off guard in some cases because it fluctuated from sort of well done to old, and I don't know. I guess the little breaks in there caught me. So I kept it at a 3. The musicianship of the band and melody. I don't think the band is utterly ridiculous at blues guitar and blues, but for their time and what they were doing, I respect it and how they did it. So I gave that a 3. Accessibility. Yeah, this is accessible. It's the only thing that keeps it not accessible for some people might be the fact that it has that old school recording. So I gave that a 3. The overall rating by me, the listener, I gave it a 3. It fell right in that mid-range of something that I would go back and listen to for throwing on nostalgia for people and myself and being in a nostalgic position. Would I go through the whole album? Probably not. I'm certainly wish you would. I'm going to change that really fast so I don't have to sit through 8 minutes of the same riff. It's sometimes like a Metallica song, you should have stopped it 6 minutes ago. But so that's a 16 for me. When Jeff gave me the album, I was excited because I kind of knew of them, because going up the country, I knew that one right off the top. But what it did is it taught me a little bit more about Canned Heat and where they came from and then what they came into this as, right? I was not expecting these songs to be other people's songs, kind of. It's almost like I didn't know what I thought I didn't know. What? I don't know.
Okay. I'd like to interject a little bit, if I may.
You may.
I have seen this band twice, both times in 86 and both times within 5, both ones were 5 days from each other, both concerts, one on a Monday and one on a Saturday. Both were opening acts for Muddy Waters, both times.
Okay.
I can't remember the last cereal I ate. I can't believe you remember the day of the week you saw them.
I have a really good memory when it comes to concerts. Always have.
Damn,
cool.
Sometimes I can remember song lists.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm wired that way. But anyway, so they started out as in Los Angeles as a garage band. Okay. They were comprised of many different artists that came and gone. Some guys would play with them a few weeks and then somebody else would pull in. They had so many people. There were 2 different band members in the 5-day spread that when I saw them. So they basically got lucky with a couple of their #1 hits, but they did not do much writing themselves. They were into old blues. They loved the old blues, They toured with Waters for at least 3 years that I know of. Yeah, they got along really well, and they played at the same time. And a couple of the members, because usually Waters came on by himself, but a couple of times those guys split. Now on some of their songs, they don't even have a bassist. There is no bass.
Okay, so
Yep.
my ears weren't deceiving me.
No, and some of their tracks can sound tinny, and I do believe that the 2 albums that I own, and I actually have vinyl on both these albums. That one you have and another one. It sounds like they were in the $2.99 an hour recording studio. So, but I love them.
A lot of things are lining up here.
They to me are Americana, and it's fine.
Yes, that's a good pick. Americana boogie blues, right? Old school.
Yeah,
But
this is old school. The only problem with this band, there were hardly any black guys in it. Yeah.
For
But-
doing blues,
but
true. Yeah.
I loved Canned Heat. I still to this day listen to them. They're not, what word am I looking for? They're not
Polished.
polished. That's exactly the word. They are so unpolished, they're rusty.
It's amazing what, man, I like the Rust
Well,
reference there,
They're
being
like a garage
blues.
band then.
Garage band. That's what a garage band is, not polished.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's exactly it. Is you almost wonder, and you don't appreciate a good production team on something like that, where you wonder what they could have sounded like if they had a little bit of hands digging into that side of things too.
But on the opposite side, sometimes, and this personally gets it to me, I like raw sometimes. I don't like all the polish. Sometimes that tweaks with the reality and the authenticity of something when you use a whole bunch
Yeah.
of equipment to make somebody sound like they're better than they are. But
Well, and being a chef, you have an appreciation for the raw things because God knows I couldn't eat half the shit that is.
well, that's your problem. But
That's why I'm
Well,
always
if you
wrong.
liken it to
But I get
if-
your point on that.
the
Yeah.
rawness, right? Think of the Stooges.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
That's the kind of thing where if it's not raw and it was polished, it wouldn't be as good, as great, and as it was.
No.
Don't get me wrong. When it first came out, no one liked it. It was then it. Oh wow!
You know,
wait a second.
Garage.
So
I saw more garage bands than I care to even mention. Living in LA because they're all over the place.
Yeah.
I saw Los Lobos when they were a garage band. You know, but they got polished and they got very famous.
Whiskey a Go-Go, is that what we're talking?
No, a garage.
Oh,
But
okay.
has anyone seen a band play in a garage?
Many times.
That's what I think he's getting at there.
Oh, in LA, it's a thing. If you can't get a gig, you find somebody's garage, you put posters all over the place, and you charge $2 or $3 to stand in somebody's driveway and listen to a band till the police close you down.
And in my era, the closest thing you get to a garage band is when you open up your MacBook and you open GarageBand.
What I want to know is we're not charging $2 or $3, and I got 100 people to just show up and. All right, I'm begging. See, I'm begging. Okay.
Like, comment, subscribe. Yes, I get
tell
the
you
quote
what.
out of the way right now.
Mark,
So Mark, did you like the album?
I liked it because I understand what it was, what it is, where it fits, and what these guys were trying to do and what they loved, right? And I liked that a few times they did a couple of their own things, but it fits well with what they were doing. I think they were in their wheelhouse, they were comfortable, and they were making a damn good living. You're opening for Muddy Waters, and I'm sure he, from what I understand, he wasn't a prick by any means. So
Well, you
why
liked
not?
it. Will you listen to
Yeah.
it again?
I would, yeah, I
And
would.
how many times
What I
do you
would do
listen to
though
this, Jeff?
is I would go back to vintage or one of the albums and just listen to the album instead of the hits, because sometimes they have a
There's an
song.
order.
Well, no, they have a song that I did not get to listen to. I kept reminding myself, you gotta say something about this. Something about hockey. Shit. Hang on.
there's a surprise right there that it has to do with hockey and us.
I was when I saw the song title, I went, wait a minute, show me. And I believe they wrote the song. And of course, it's not going to be like at the ready, right? You know what? Go to the album.
While you're looking for it, Jeff, how often do you listen to this band? A lot? Or is it like one of your top ones, or it's just one you've always listened to?
It's a now and then. I have so much that I love. It's a now and then. But actually, I heard it the other day when on the radio. They just, throw up, and then I want to listen to more. I am, with the exception of a few bands, which we'll talk about later. There's very few regulars I listen to because I'm, I've said many times before, I'm a deadhead. I'm a true deadhead. I still listen to 60% of my listening is a dead or something that's quite close to that. It's just you don't see a band over 100 times and not be infatuated.
Yeah.
Ride Hockey Boogie.
Yeah, Ride Hockey Boogie. That's where you were going, but I wasn't sure.
Yep.
So, but if you go to some of their other albums, they have 2 albums out there that everything on it they wrote.
Okay, I didn't get that impression as I went through the catalog.
I'll send you the I'll text it to you later.
Well,
Yeah,
let's not.
Yeah. Anyway, because like for instance, like what's the album? Their first album, that's not the case. Forget what, there was one that I thought that was, so let's go.
How deep is their catalog? Because I got
Not
the
deep.
impression it's very short.
Yes, most of it is greatest hits and stuff. They only have, I want to say 7 albums or something of that nature.
Yeah, 7 albums. Yeah.
Well, but Christmas album doesn't count, and stuff like that.
They
So
even have a Christmas album?
yeah,
everybody
they
has a
actually sang
Christmas
with
album.
the Chipmunks, the Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah.
What? Now that's
so-
a collaboration we need to talk about.
Boogie with Canned Heat, that has Evil Woman, which is Larry Wise's song.
Right.
But there are there's more Canned Heat than normal, like, Fried Hockey Boogie was Larry Taylor, so because he was the bassist of Canned Heat. He wrote that song.
Hey, but it's interesting. There's a lot of bands that don't write a lot of their songs. I'll tell you a real interesting point. The Grateful Dead, very famous band. Everybody knows them. They've written less than 40% of their songs.
Yeah.
Because they like the old, what quote unquote old standards.
So
Okay.
And on that note, I want to move to Jeff here on this. So
Good
Jeff,
thing I
Mark
followed
gave
suit.
you, well, if only we could all do our show in bed.
Yep.
That
Absolutely.
would be one hell of an episode.
Yeah. Maybe
And-
maybe when we go to Mark's house, the 4 of us could lay in the same bed and do a show.
And on that
on
note,
that note, please
Jeff-
like and subscribe.
and please like, subscribe, and for the love of God, please wear the freaking shirt.
Yeah.
So on that note,
Okay.
you were given the Civil Wars. The album name is the Barton Hollow album. Please start us off with your take.
Okay, the Civil Wars, Barton Hollow. I'm going to start different than I normally start. I like this album. I enjoyed this album. I listened to it about 6 times, even though me and Mark got confused about what album I was supposed to do.
I apologize for that.
Yeah, you gave me the wrong information. I almost did one that you guys are doing.
The
So,
wrong information and a parfait.
pretty much. Yep. Anyway, so I score this album a 20. 4, 4, 4, 4, and 4. I found it a very good album. I found it very easy to listen to. I enjoyed the the transition between song and song. I love the harmony, the vocals on this. She is just unbelievable. I mean, just unbelievable.
What would it be like? Was it the rock? What kind of music is it?
Well, I'm gonna say it's alternative, progressive. Probably is the only way I can really put it. It sounds a bit. I told Mark the first time I listened to it, sounds a little bit of like a modernized Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Yeah, so it's folk.
It's folk.
It's all folk.
Definitely has folk, but I hate when that happens. Anyway, so it's a duo that was formed in 2008 by Joy Williams and John Paul White. They formed in 2008 and broke up in 2014. During that short spread of time, they won 4 Grammy Awards. They're based out of Nashville. They basically called it Americana for their style. I thought it was progressive rock in some way, but it's more Americana. The songs are absolutely stunning. The writing on them is stunning. I really, really enjoyed it. It is something I will listen to quite a few times in the future. The ones that really got me, the songs, they had one, their second song on the album is I Had a Girl. Just a wonderful, wonderful song. I really enjoyed it. They did Eavesdrop and then into Devil's Backbone, both very classically written folk, classically written. It's funny, their musical style tends to be a little rockish, but their words and their melodic signature is all folk. It really is. I don't know why Mark gave me this album. I'm not really sure.
I was actually going to ask that.
Yeah. And you can in a second. And then my favorite album on the my favorite song on the album was the last one, Oh Henry. Just a great, great ballad. It really, really is. I really, really enjoyed this. Matter of fact, I was only going to listen to it 3 or 4 times, and I had other times. It's a great record to drive to. Excellent record to drive to. Just a nice, mellow, cruising down the highway kind of stuff. But yeah, I loved it. But Mark, why'd you give it to me?
So let me make my third mistake of this whole thing. It's not Barton Hollow I gave you. I gave you the Civil Wars.
I know. I said Civil Wars. He said Barton Hollow.
Yeah, I thought I gave you Barton Hollow. So I gave you Civil Wars. I remember when I was on the car ride and you were wondering what I gave. I thought I couldn't remember which album I gave you. So I thought for sure I gave you Barton Hollow.
Yeah, I told you to stop drinking before you give me songs, okay?
Yeah. So so the Civil War. So this is their second record, and that's where it ended. So I gave it to you because I know how much you love harmony, and I want to say over the last probably 2 decades, they're between 2 people in harmony. It doesn't get any better than Joy Williams and John Paul White. I witnessed them do a live show. And he came out in a tuxedo and she was, dressed to the nines. And they started their songs and all this stuff. And she goes, all right, we're going to do something a little different now. So he got all excited. He's like, oh, we're going to do Iron Maiden? And he's just like, no. Megadeth? And they're going to stay within the boundaries of what they created. But I know that they've done, they did Disarm by Billy Corgan. They did Billie Jean by Michael Jackson. They tend to throw things in there that are not theirs. But the harmonies are just so wicked. The way the songs are written, they're kind of like a dangerous, dark kind of way of telling a story, right? They have a little edge to them. They're not just, sweet and like the Peter, Paul, and Mary. That's a little bit dark, but not that dark. They had to be pop sensible, right? These are not pop sensitive. You
never listened to Puff the Magic Dragon? That's dark.
Yeah, yes, I heard it by Jane Cibrian. She got hit by water bottles at a concert for singing it. So I gave it to you because I figured it's, how people say they're like, I just love that. I just love that. Right. Well, there are people doing that kind of stuff today. Nobody is like forsaking the past. People are creating some of the past in their own way today. And that's pretty much why I gave it to you, because I don't need to throw you universe 0 and have you like, your mind split in half and you just go, God, I couldn't get past the first song. And I went to the second song and holy shit, it was even crazier than that.
It would require a warning label.
Yeah, that's why they I love what's going on here. I love the fact that when people go, gosh, I didn't know that existed, right? I love it. It's where I am. It's what I don't need. There are times maybe later on down the road where I will throw something out there just to get, like, for instance, there's a show forthcoming where I gave a very difficult record to the girls, and I was stunned how much they loved it. But it was a gamble. But more on that later in weeks to come.
Oh, on that note, we got a 20 tonight given to the Civil Wars from Jeff. We got a 16 given to the Canned Heat Best of album from Mark. To our listeners, and first off, I'd like to thank my co-host tonight, Jeff, who said he was going to participate absolutely nothing and came in overachieving. Thank you to our listeners, however many of them there are. We need you to like, comment, subscribe. Let's get this thing out there. Let's have some fun with this. We can't do this without you. And as you can kind of hint from looking behind Mark, you might have a little bit of merchandise incentive coming your way soon enough. So for those of you following along, keep posted on that.
A new line of swimwear.
We're trying to get people to watch.
Oh, see, this is where I ruin everything.
So to all of you, we'd like to say thank you for tuning in tonight and adios.